Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Bonky Kook here, aka the Lonely Achievement God. Today we are continuing our full playthrough of Wilmot's Warehouse in the Zen playthrough of the game. Basically playing the game as it's intended with commentary along the way. We had just finished the stock take to start our second quarter of 1996, as you can see in the top right corner. Everything is sorted, and we are going to continue on into the next quarter. As I've said last part, there is a pretty good chance that from this point on, I will be going microphone silent, as there's just not a lot of exciting things to interject, and most of you are probably sick of my voice already. I'll just pop back in whenever some information is necessary to share. I will be notating on the video where my voice does pop back in if you'd prefer to just get to those sections of the video. So this is actually the first quarter, and I should have said this before. This is the first quarter that follows the same pattern for the rest of the game. That first quarter, you have the weird little 8 new item delivery to start the game, just so you kind of fill out your warehouse at the beginning. Excuse me. And now we've gotten into the meat of the game. The quarters will all be exactly the same up to the October, November, December of 2001 quarter, which is the final one of the game. It is worth noting, to keep that in mind, that the game ends at the beginning of November of 2001, so that October quarter will be the last one that you're able to upgrade, just so you're aware. But every quarter from here on out will start the same way. You start with a stock phase. Well, actually, you start with the upgrade screen, then you go to the stock phase with the delivery of bulk items that you already have in your warehouse. Once you have sorted everything, you get a service phase here. Service phase is 1 minute 30 seconds to bring the customer's items, and then once you're done with that, you move on to the next month. At the beginning of the second and third months in a quarter from here on out, you will be given a manifest with 4 new items. The delivery following that manifest will have at least one of the 4 new items in it, and the other 26 items have a random chance to be any of the items in your warehouse to that point, or any of the 4 new items that are coming in. Following both of those phases, you have, of course, the service phase again for customers, and then you move on to the next quarter and repeat it. There's not much else to add, so I will go radio silent until the next thing that is necessary to share. Well, crap, since I'm here, of course, I just thought of something else I should share with you. Okay, so that 14 by 2 block that holds the customer service, as you can see, where the customer service window is, if you are holding a block, a row of items, and it goes into this Nook while the customer service window is open, and of course you're carrying an item a customer wants, the items immediately get taken by the customer. That's something worth noting. If you have stacks of 10, you can just aim them upward and move up, and you don't have to go all the way to the window itself, because it'll grab the entire stack of 10 even though you're still towards the middle of the warehouse. As long as you are holding the items, they are an item a customer wants, and you're not holding too many of them. So if a customer wants 5 and you bring 6, I think the entire stack will move over there, but it will leave the extra items in front of the window, so you'll have to clean up afterwards. But it's a little bit of a shortcut that you can use when going through the game, just to make things a little bit quicker. And I will go quiet again for a bit here. Just another quick thing to point out: patterns are weird. Now you are going to have, or you're going to view some of these tiles differently than I do. The point of this game is to organize things in a way that they are recognizable to you. So whatever you choose as your sorting method should be something that you can recognize. So if I tell you that, say, this red and white tile here, it just looks red to me for some reason, even though they look, the colors are, symmetrical. There's no more white than there is red. To me, when that pops up, I think red. Group it with the red items. Again, that's not right, but that's the way that makes the most sense to me when it comes out. If I was doing this for multiple people, if I had to have someone else helping me sort these deliveries, then I may be using a different method. But you might look at that and say, that's a white tile, or that's a pattern tile. Group it with the patterns. And it's entirely up to you. I'm not here to tell you exactly what to do. This is supposed to be a Zen playthrough. So if you see tiles that I put somewhere and you're like, that's dumb, only an idiot would put them there, you might be right. I don't claim to never be an idiot, but it's going to come down to your personal preference and how you can sort things to make things the quickest for you. So for me, some of these sorting methods may not line up well with your desire, and that's fine. When you play through the game, feel free to do whatever you want. One thing I kind of noticed but never really thought about is in a delivery phase, if you go into the time clock square, the time stops, which is odd to me. As you can see in the upper left-hand corner there, the timer stopped even though I'm just sitting in the box. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with that. So we start the service phase. I'm probably going to go radio silent here again, guys, and I'll be back when there's something worth mentioning. Okay, quick interjection. I'm using an account that I've already unlocked all the achievements on to record this. This would be your first story achievement here. As you can see, he mentions we have 28 out of 200 products in the warehouse. Every 20 items from this point on, you will get an achievement for getting a story poster from your boss, except for 108. So 28, 48, 68, and 88 will get you a poster and achievement. At 108, the Juan comes in and says the boss is out of town, so, tough luck, you don't get anything. But it resumes again at 128, 148, 168, and 188. And you will get an achievement after the 200 items pop in to end the game as well. As I mentioned, this does not have anything to do with how many stars you get or how many deliveries you finish. You can fail the entire game and get 0 stars and still unlock all of the achievements, meaning a lot of the pressure to perform well kind of falls off there. Back to silence. Just another thing I'm gonna pop in to mention. So I've been recording quite a few of these videos using the preview screen for my capture utility, and I just swapped over to using the TV, and I can barely tell the difference between the blocks now. For some reason, it's significantly easier to see on the capture utility preview. So, as we get further into this, I may wind up screwing up some of my sorting. I have pretty bad eyesight, full disclosure, so if I start screwing things up, feel free to yell at the screen as much as possible. I will not hear you. But you may notice my gameplay being a little bit smoother now, looking directly at the TV instead of doing it through the capture utility. And hopefully it's a better experience for you. I need to upgrade my setup because I only have one TV to do all this on, so I'd have to switch inputs in the middle of recording in order to make it more streamlined. So we'll move on here, and once again I will go silent. So as I said last playthrough, both the speedy and stronger power-ups unlock the next tier of upgrades, which is the getting rid of, there's 6 different pillars, and so you have to pay 24 stars per pillar to get rid of them. The stronger one also unlocks strongest. I prefer doing the dash move first. I've always preferred speed over strength, so I pick speedy. You can use stronger and then get speedy. You don't really need to go past stronger for the game itself, but an extra carry limit doesn't hurt. It's just not overly necessary. So I'm gonna pick speedy, and you'll see um, the pillar upgrades pop in here. It doesn't really matter which one of the pillar upgrades you use. It's going to depend on where you are running out of space. If the yellow items are backing up, you might want to get rid of the upper left or middle left pillars. If the blue items are backing up, you might want to get rid of the bottom right or middle right pillars. It's kind of dependent on how the items are coming in for you, and that's assuming you are using the same sorting method I am. You might be doing something completely different. Okay, I will mute the mic and be back. And once again, I will pop back in here. As you can see, the more items you put in a row, the harder it is to push the row. It takes longer to do so, but there isn't, as far as I'm aware, a limit. So if you had a row that went all the way over to like 1 block short, you could push the entire row. As long as you're not pushing it into a wall, you can push an entire row of items like that. The same thing goes for like this entire delivery. I can push the entire delivery. It takes a period of time in between pushes, and the more items I am trying to push will increase the amount of time you have to wait between pushes. So at some point it becomes not worth it to try to push large groups, but for short periods of time, it can be useful to keep that in mind. Alright guys, just jumping back in here. You may have noticed that for some of the items that I have up against the pillars, I start building second rows. Early on, you're better off having the items near the service window. Once you start getting rid of the pillars, you can get entire rows of everything because the pillars won't be obstructing things. That's just kind of my little way of doing things. You can do it, of course, however you want. Just wanted to run in and make note of that. I'm actually getting a ton more red items than I ever have, so I might have to make a little bit of an adjustment to how I'm gonna sort things in my later portions of the game. Like for the most part, the blue and the yellow tiles are the ones you get the most of. As we're seeing here, I'm actually getting a ton of the red ones. So I try to keep the yellows on the left side, the blue on the right side, and things can be interchangeable, but that's the way that's worked for me. Gonna go silent again here. So I'm going to start getting rid of the pillars here. Actually, I'm going to get the stronger on this round, and then I believe next round I will get the first two pillars. Yeah, sorry about that. But once I purchase stronger, strongest will be available. It's not really worth it to grab it now. The important thing at this point should be to get rid of the pillars to open up space. As I said, you'll get a ton of stars later on, and so you'll be able to get the strongest upgrade. But for now, making the space by getting rid of the pillars is the most important thing. I will talk to you again in a bit. So we're gonna approach the end of this part of the video here. Just gonna pop in and say a few things before we do. Um, as you'll notice, I'm actually starting to run out of room down in this bottom corner. So I will be adjusting my layout here in the next stock take. I'll end the video after the stock take. If you've been watching, you probably noticed that the deliveries don't take that long. Or I mean, the bringing the deliveries to customers doesn't take that long. It is the sorting that is what takes up the majority of the time in this playthrough. If you don't find the sorting to be fun, that's a pretty big red flag for those of you hoping to enjoy this game. It doesn't get any different than this. We have gotten quite a few more items that belong in groups, but again, I'm not worrying about that. We finally got some of the different purple colors. As I just said, we're not going to be worrying about sorting anything into groups. Mostly because even if I got them into groups, the achievements wouldn't pop, so it wouldn't really prove anything anyways. We'll have our stock take phase here. And I am going to get rid of the upper left and the middle left. I think upper left, upper right. And getting one of these pillars unlocks another tier of upgrades. I know I did it pretty quick, but getting one of the make space upgrades unlocks the pager and the map, neither of which are very useful for the playthrough. The map is kind of useful for making guides, but not really for going through the game. if you need a map to determine the layout of your warehouse, you are probably not doing very well at this game to begin with, because the goal is to memorize the layout of your warehouse. The pager allows you to see the orders before, as it says, before going to the hatch. The problem is it will not tell you if the orders are for a 5-star customer or a 0-star customer. And probably 80% of the time, you are already going to be at the hatch when you start the service phase. There are very few instances where you'll be out still sorting deliveries after 3 minutes, which is the only point where the pager would come in handy. It's not really worth wasting any of your time on. Once you get the second make space upgrade unlocked, you unlock Borky. Borky is very cute, and I want to say that because he is incredibly useless. I wish he was more useful. The idea behind Borky is he will sort items for you. The problem is he is kind of hit or miss. He does not follow your sorting patterns. He brings items near the grouping of items elsewhere in the warehouse. So if you have a magnet and you have 5 of them grouped in one corner of the warehouse, and you put Borky next to a magnet in the new delivery, he will grab the magnet and bring it to where the magnets are, but he's not going to add it to a row. He may not even put it at the end of the row, and you'll have to reorganize everything anyways. So while Borky is cute, and unlocking the Borky upgrade does give you a Borky boost upgrade after that, which just makes him do things poorly faster, it's not really worth going for immediately. You're going to want to focus on getting all 6 of the pillars out of the way, and then what you do with your stars after that is up to you. None of the remaining upgrades, other than the strongest one, really have any bearing on playing the game, so they're mostly cosmetic or just for fun. So we'll finish this stock take phase, sort everything out here, and then we will finish this part and move on to part 3. This is where things start to get a little bit stressful. Until you get rid of the, all of the columns, pillars, there's just going to be a few, things that don't want to work right in your favor. I will sort these. Like that. And I should do that too. Gives me room for blues, dark blues, purples. In fact, I might move some of these up. Okay, ladies and gents, I will see you in the next part of the Wilmot Warehouse Zen playthrough.